So it's been admitted that when they were making the first Friday the 13th, they were purely just trying to make a movie to capitalize off the success of Halloween. And I feel like you can feel that in the first movie a little bit. But once we get to Friday the 13th Part 2, I feel like we start to have this series stand on its own 2 feet. So Friday the 13th Part 2 came out a mere year after the original. They kind of shot themselves in the foot at the ending of the first movie. They killed Mrs. Voorhees, the killer. Mrs. Voorhees isn't some supernatural killer like Freddy Krueger. She doesn't come back. So they had to figure something out. So they decided to have Jason become the killer, the little boy from the first movie. But now he's a full-grown man, and he was there when Mrs. Voorhees was decapitated, and now he wants revenge. Look, the mythos of Friday the 13th is confusing. Jason in the first movie was this little boy that drowned, and that made his mother Snap go crazy and kill camp counselors. Now he's alive. Where was he for all that time? He's a full-grown man, too. Like, where was he all that time? We don't know. We never really get those answers. I guess there's extended lore somewhere. I've never read it. Don't know if it's canon. But with the context of the movie, we never really get those answers. It doesn't super matter. Jason is awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad that Jason is the killer in this movie. It starts to feel more Friday the 13th proper. He's not yet donning the hockey mask. He wears a sack over his head, and he wears overalls and a flannel shirt. I don't hate the look. I think he looks pretty cool in this movie, so it's a good one-off. I'm glad that he eventually becomes more like we know him, but for this movie, I think his look is perfect. There's a lot of recap at the start of this movie. It's fine. I don't think you need it there, but it's something that they're gonna keep doing for a few more movies. Whatever, it really doesn't hurt or hinder anything. It's just kind of like, why are we doing this? Jason actually follows the final girl from the first movie to wherever it is she's living. I don't know if they ever say where that is, but he's not at Crystal Lake. He's holding a grudge against this girl, and he kills her in a brutal fashion with that screwdriver through the head. I always thought that was really gross. The bigger point to that, though, is Jason holds grudges. He's very human, and I like that in these first couple movies. Don't get me wrong, I like the supernatural stuff later in the series, but just having him be a person is cool to me. Further solidifying that these movies were always supposed to be campy, pun intended, is the title card explodes in the beginning. Guys, like, come on. That's not setting this spooky atmosphere. It's like, we are here to see people get got. And that's fine. I love that. But it was campy from the beginning.
And then over...
I told the others. They didn't believe me. You're all doomed. You're all doomed.
I still love Ralph. My boy! Look how you massacred my boy! He was all that was good and pure in this world, and you took that away! You monsters. I feel like there's a lot more scandalous shots in this movie, a lot more, ooh, I shouldn't be watching this sexy stuff. I mean, like, that's the point of these movies, right? You have sex and you die, and that made that stereotype throughout slasher movies. They embrace it. They really lean into it in this movie, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I'm just letting you know. It's there. So if you're into that kind of thing. This movie, just like the first movie, still has that Friday the 13th dialogue. It's charming. I like it. I don't care that it's bad. There's a lot of characters in this movie. Eventually, a bunch of them like go to a bar, and then we have our main cast of characters. But there's no way that you're ever going to be able to remember everybody's name. I doubt they even say everybody's name. There's some fun edits in this movie that I really enjoy. Like the dog running up to Jason's feet and then immediately cutting to pictures of hot dogs on a grill. I think that kind of stuff's funny. I think that's clever. And the editing overall is just fun like that. There are some weird moments where characters will be walking down a path, for example, and then Jason will step out from behind the tree. Where he steps out from, you would have totally seen him if you were walking the way you were. So it's just little things that you see and you notice, and it starts to turn in your head like, that doesn't make sense. What am I doing? But you have to just go, okay, I'm here to watch people die. So it's fine. Jason runs in this movie. That retroactively becomes weird. It's not a problem for me. It doesn't do anything, but that becomes weird later because I think one of the things people think of when they think of Jason is Jason does not run. I like Ginny as a final girl. I like that she defeats Jason through like this psychological means instead of just like throwing axes and knives and stuff trying to kill this guy. That doesn't work. We've seen that before. And we'll see later in the series Tommy Jarvis do a similar thing. I like that they incorporated a part of her character, that being that she studies child psychiatry, into how she defeats Jason. That kind of stuff, that kind of smarter writing, I think really separates this movie from its predecessor. This movie also has a lot quicker pace than the first movie. I feel like the first movie drags a little bit at points. This movie, you get there, and maybe 30 minutes into the movie, people start dropping. And that's what we want to see. That's why we're here. That's the price of admission. We want to see people drop. Going off of the pacing, the final chase in the movie doesn't suck. It's not like, I hit you and now you're down and now I'm gonna run away and you're back. It's pretty consistently like we're getting chased, and some people don't like chase sequences. I think it's fine, but it's so much better than the first one. So to sum everything up, I think Friday the 13th Part 2 is better than the first movie. It's just more refined. We're starting to see those threads that I talked about that come up later in the series. We're starting to see them form a little bit more. We're going to keep getting that as we go, but they're really starting to solidify here. Friday the 13th Part 2, B- for sure. Gets a passing grade. It's a fun time. You'll enjoy it. I like it better than the first one, so if a Friday the 13th ever pops up, and I'm like, ooh, I want to watch a Friday the 13th movie, I will choose Part 2 over Part 1. I'd probably choose Part 6 or 7 over Part 2, but, you know, you gotta switch things up every so often. Thank you for watching this review. If you like this review, I have more coming to the channel. I also do short films. We have a podcast. We have more shows coming out. We also do the YouTube Shorts now, so that's fun if you enjoy that kind of thing. You can follow me on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. All those links are in the description below. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.